Hey, Orange One here. So in this video, I wanted to go over how to grow a channel as a video game YouTuber in 2020. General overviews, you're gonna see me talking about my tutorial videos, my Let's Plays, some general strategies on how to get people to find your videos, and how to find similar games to help have some overlap with your audience, and then some deep diving in stats, essentially. So to get us started, right now, if I go just to my my homepage on my channel, you can see that I've got a decent amount of subscribers, but for a very long time I wasn't really getting too many subscribers, and then it just exploded, like absolutely exploded. So let's have a look at our videos. And let's look over the lifetime of my channel. So you can see, let's do total first. It's kind of crazy, some of these numbers. Like, you can see that I've got 500,000 views, and yeah, it's just mind-boggling to look at just how much watch time there is for some of this stuff. So anyways, for a long time I was doing like Cataclysm, and a little bit of Kenshi and a couple other games, and then I released some tutorial videos in December 2018, and then Kenshi released, I think it was in January or February, I can't remember exactly when, going from beta to alpha, and my channel just exploded when this game came out, and I wanted to talk to you about how and why that happened. So if you look here, these videos that are the most popular, I'm just gonna highlight all of these guys so you can just kind of see how they performed and when they came out, because all of my top videos are from this one game. And you might be thinking, well, how do I do that? How do I find this game that's gonna grow my channel? And I think it honestly comes down to that I was playing this game before it officially came out, like I was in a beta. So if you're looking to grow a channel, get into a game that you think is going to become a lot more popular, that's in beta, learn it, get comfortable with it, so that when it comes out, you can put some tutorials out. Ideally, putting out some content before the games even came out, so as the game gets a lot of traction online, you do too. So for example, I had already done all of these things before the game officially came out. And you can see that they've got pretty good stats on them. I mean, one video has gotten me nearly 100 subscribers, And I want to talk about some of these individual stats as well, and we'll go more in depth in that a little bit more in the later end. But basically, I think what happened with the Kenshi series was that it had very few people that were trying to do the same thing at that time, and then as the game came out, there was just tons of people trying to figure out how to play it. And it's really important in these videos. Like, if we actually click on one of these videos, so if I go to the details and whatnot, I've got, title is exactly what you're looking for. It's got the base locations, got a decent looking thumbnail. This one I think had some pretty colors that people were like, wait, what is that? That's a weird place, So kind of an eye-catching thumbnail. This is key here. So I've been watching a little bit of the Content Bug talking about search engine optimization, and you want to include the term that you're looking for in your title, in your description. You want to talk about in the video, because the video knows when you're using certain words. And then also you want to have that in your tags down here. And if you hit all of those at the same time, it essentially is I don't know if it's multiplicative or additive, but the algorithm looks at all that stuff and will try and recommend stuff for you. You may also notice that I've got this thing called TubeBuddy on, which is really, really useful. It lets you see a lot of cool stuff and do some interesting things. One of them is that it gives you some recommended tags. So like base building, I could put that in. It's like, hey, you should probably put that in here, right? It's not like it's gonna make much of a difference now in this video, but it's pretty useful. It gives you some recommended things, and you can save like tags and look at some other stats. Yeah, basically that's how I do my videos. If I can do links, like time links, that's what I did here. I basically looked up in the video. I'll just show it to you really quick. So if you click on a video, you're gonna hear me talking again.
Here, so this
double orange one, right? So if I wanted to like go to this time right here in the video, at that time, copy URL at current time, and then that's in your clipboard, and you can then put it in your video description. Very, very useful. People looking for specific things love that being linked in the video. If you can also put it as a text filter at the beginning of the video, that's very useful. I don't think I actually did that for this one, but I think I did do that for some later videos. Like if you can in the first few seconds throw that on the screen, that really helps. Also, you want to be thinking about how these videos are going to recommend each other. So I've forgotten exactly how to see this here, but you can see what videos are recommending other videos on YouTube. It's pretty interesting. I think it's maybe under reach or engagement. Oh, here's a cool thing. You can see these terms and what terms are being searched for, and that can kind of help you think about some other videos that you might want to make. I wanted to look for yeah, I'm not really seeing it right now, but yeah, you can, there's some way to do that. So I was watching the footage and I wanted to go back and add in a little bit more of comparison of keywords and titles and whatnot. So I've gone and tabbed out and looked at all these different videos, and I want to show you some interesting trends. Most of them did okay, but then they all in general had in this tutorial series a spike up at the same time. They really all helped each other out in going viral. This is a different thing. This is my Bannerlord videos, but you can see the same thing. I like published it, it kind of did well, and then it really seemed to pick up quite a bit later. And that is something that you see with all of my videos that did well, is that this general kind of S-shaped curve of like, oh, people like this video, and then they all seem to pick up at the same time. So they really do go viral, as they say. Also, something of interest is that all of them have similar percentage of people who watch till the end, and that kind of makes sense. It's probably the same people, right? But even my other video, it was a similar amount. One interesting thing is this guy right here, I believe, has some spikes in its watch time because I put in the timestamps and people actually used those timestamps. Yeah, you can kind of see those spikes at where those timestamps were provided. So that's an example of why you want those timestamps. Also, I think there's like keywords that you can kind of see for these videos, which is kind of interesting. So obviously weapon guide is gonna be a good thing. So if you're trying to get your tutorial videos some good visibility, these are the types of things that you want to be looking and dropping in your keyword search and putting in your title, right? Like you want to be saying things that people will be searching for, like ancient science books. Like this is an item in the game, it's pretty rare, hard to come by. So if you get this, and this is also in the title, so if you get like these items or characters that are rare in the game, I think that really helps your visibility and search engine optimization, you know? And like this is combat tips, so of course that all makes sense. I might want to go back and make sure that all of these things are in my description. Like I don't think Kenshi crossbow was one of my words. No. So this one I actually could probably do better by adding in some of those terms to help reinforce, hey, recommend people towards this content, you know? So yeah, that's kind of the main thing that I want to show you was that all of these videos had that similar similar thing happened to them, was they all recommended each other all at the same time and did relatively well. And I think I really have done a nice job on getting the titles for things that people would probably search for. And then, like, for example, this one I put cybernetics, but it's kind of hard to know exactly what someone would search for if they're looking for, like, the robotic limbs. So I put robotic limbs, prosthetic, cybernetics, all that stuff, and it managed to come up in the search results. So even if your title doesn't exactly match, if you put it down here, it really, really helps. The robotic limbs, prosthetics, those are really, really, really good types of things to keep in mind. Is like, okay, if this word isn't going to show up exactly, how could I influence them to click on this by getting something similar, right? Like Kenshi research or buying a house. Like I've got this little safe house tutorial and whatnot. Yeah, so that's, I just thought that would be kind of interesting to do those comparison of those videos. So yeah, go back to the rest of it. So I wanted to also talk about my Let's Play and some of my strategies with my Let's Play videos. So if you look at my current videos, I've got Star Sector and a Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead Let's Play. In both of those, you know, the formatting on your titles, there's a million of ways of doing it, but it's not that big of a deal if you change things up. Basically what I do is I try and come up with an interesting title. This is a pretty boring title, but it has a good location in the game that people might want to know about that location, so they might look it up and find out about it like that. Like I have a video on oh gosh, was it King Gurgler and also the Hive King? If you look at these videos, just because they have a unique character in the game, they do really, really well compared to other videos. Like this one, although it's that's only over the last 28 days. This is a very old video. Over the lifetime, this thing's gotten nearly 2K views. That's crazy. But I included some important characters in the game, which is always a good thing. And trying to talk during your videos is also good. I've watched so many YouTubers where they just play the game and they're just like staring at the screen. It's awful. I hate that. So I would recommend keeping some dialogue, maybe even jotting down some notes. I'll oftentimes have some notes of some topics to talk about when I'm recording, and ask you community questions. So if we're looking here, like the more comments you get, the better. YouTube looks at a number of things when it's trying to figure out if a video is good or not, and it's those things like watch time, views, and comments. So if you can ask your audience a question, they will give you a comment, and you should respond to that comment as soon as possible, because the more comments, including your own, the better. And so, like, you can see for this one, I was discussing some stuff like, you know, I know people are gonna be like, oh, I should stay away from politics, but that doesn't mean that you can't talk about some things that are pertinent, like talking about, in this case, like censorship, you know. And I think Kenshi is a perfect example of a socially unjust world, so it lends itself to talking about that stuff. And then there's a lot of people that talk about that, or like I was talking about it being an anime, and then this person started talking to me, and I asked them some other questions. Doug, if you're watching this, I'm sorry if you feel used, but I'm gonna try and respond as best as I can to people as quickly as possible to get the, not only to trick the algorithm, but it's also common courtesy to do that. Unique ideas. So if you're doing a Let's Play, something like this, Zombie vs. Turrets, okay title, sure. But if we look at something like can't see it right now, I'm spacing on, like most ridiculous weapon. So I gave like a nice title, and then this is like a big thing in the game is trying to do like salvaged robots. I've been trying to do that for a long time, so people were pretty happy when they see that progress being made, right? Or recruiting Igor. That got a little bit more views than some other videos because I have Igor in the title. So trying to get those unique character and unique challenges out is really good. I think Nosh in general, that series has been doing good because it's also got role playing in it. Both my Let's Plays, I try and role play a fair amount in. I also wanted to talk about my Caves of Qud series and how it's done. Couple interesting things pop out to me is that first of all, I did a little experiment where I told my people who watch my videos, hey, go check out this first one in the series, and just put comments and view it and check it out. And I think that happened somewhere up here, or it might have been, I'm pretty sure it must have been here, April, right? I think it was around here that I told people, hey, check this video out. And yeah, we got a good amount of traffic going towards the Caves of Qud series here. And it was just like a little experiment, just trying to see if this would help. And yeah, it does look like it had an impact, having people check out that video and telling them, hey, go check this out. So I would highly recommend doing that if you have a series where you have some people watching, to explicitly tell them, hey, go to this one video, you know? Because yeah, this series, you know, compared to Kenshi, did not do well, but by my standards, this is a pretty good series. There are some other interesting things that pop up. I did do some tutorials for they did better than other videos, but not, like, to be honest, not worth the time is what I thought with this. But you know, Caves of Qud is one of those games that one day is going to come out of development, and who knows how much these will explode then, but who knows if the systems will have changed by then as well. So it's kind of like, do you want to make the video about this now, or how much is it going to change in the future? It's hard to say. And then also there's like end game content. People want to see that. Like, I think that's a big gap on Let's Plays, is people start to play a lot of games and they get some views and then it dies off and they're like, okay, well, I'm kind of done with this game. And people really want to see end game content. So this, I put like the quest name, the Canticle of Barathrum, and you can see it did better than some of my other videos that are just like random, you know? So yeah, that I thought was kind of interesting. Thought y'all would want to see how a smaller series of my videos does, and some of the strategies I use for that. Let's see, I'm curious if we go to keywords. Yeah, this one, it's really hard to get good keyword information on smaller things because people aren't searching for it, but you can be kind of smart about that stuff. For example, with this one, I think I'll probably be able to get some data that I can show you guys. So if we go to analytics, and yeah, so like for example, this one does have a little bit more terms that are being searched for that it's picking up. So yeah, I thought that would be kind of cool to show you guys. Also look at that number. So let's see, also I wanted to just talk about, oh, there was this really cool tool. I wanted to show it to you guys. There's a Reddit map like of shared users. Yeah, I think it's this one. I think, yeah, pretty sure it's this map, yeah. So if you search in something like Kenshi, like the Kenshi Reddit, this thing will tell you how many people share the Reddits between that game and other subreddits. And so when I did well in my series, with my Kenshi series, I was like, what games are similar that have large audiences who may have some carryover? Like, what games will my Kenshi fans want to watch, essentially? And it looks like Dwarf Fortress, Caves of Qud. I've played both those games. I do not see Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, but if I click on, I think, Caves of Qud, then I can see how that's tied to other games. And there we go. We've got Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead and Dwarf Fortress. It's like this really strong triangle. You can see that basically the games I'm playing are related. And through those relations, I'm getting a decent amount of views. I have done Project Zomboid. Judging by this, I really should be playing some RimWorld. That would probably be a good idea for the channel. So there, you can see these little games that have similar overlaps, because you want to niche like really hard. If you want really loyal, passionate fans, you want to have it be the same types of games that they're wanting to play, and you've got them already as an audience, so you might as well show them something that they would like, that statistically they would like, right? Also, I did want to talk a little bit about OBS. OBS is the software that I record with. It's totally free. It's awesome. I wouldn't really record with anything else, if I'm completely honest. Yeah, it's just a really good recording open source software. And speaking of which, there's also an open source software called Shotcut, which is what I use for editing my videos. Also open source, fairly easy to use, and the two work well together. So I like those recording softwares. One thing that you should learn from my mistakes is get a good mic, because for a long time I had a Turtle Beach, I think it was an R50 stealth, whatever fancy sounding thing that they called their headphones, and it had a attached mic, and I was using that for over a year. I recently upgraded to a Blue Yeti. It sounds so much better. Go listen to my old stuff. It's awful. it's quite the improvement. Okay, well that's just about it for this video. I decided to cut the video up into two, just because it was getting a little too long. So if you liked what you saw today, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And please let me know what you guys would like to see more of. Like, drop some comments down if you'd like me to dive in with a particular aspect of search engine optimization, or if you'd like to look at a specific tutorial series or something like that and the stats behind that. I'd be happy to dive in more into this stuff. Just let me know. Thank you for joining me. This has been Orange One.